All right, as a part of week 8, we are having a look at policies, and I wanted to connect this back to our assignment. So, our assignment is to write our own policy, and the best thing that you could be doing with your group at the moment is Googling around lots of different kinders and lots of different childcares to find examples of policies. So, have a think about maybe childcares or kinders in your area, or this one's not in my area, but I just Googled it and I just typed in kinder policies and this one popped up. And if you have a look down here, you can see all of the different policies that this particular kinder have. Now, it doesn't have digital professionalism as such, but what I think is really helpful to look at for your team is the structure and the way things are worded. It's not going to be exactly the same as what we need to produce in our assignment, but I just find that it was really helpful to have a look at. So, for example, you could have a look at, say, participation of volunteers and students, and you can see that there's a purpose. You can see that it's a really nicely short, succinct statement. Then it goes into the values, things like scope, which is something that we do need to include in our A2. It does give you some background and some legislation which you could have a look through. And then it gives you things like it gives you a heads up to what legislation they use. So that might be helpful. You could just take things straight out of there to put into your assessment. We don't need to do definitions. But then it goes through all of the things that's important. You can see how they've set out the sources. So looking at here's their procedure that they've broken down for you, and that's exactly what you're going to need to do in step 3. So looking at something like this can really just help look at the way it's worded, look at what kind of dot points they've got as examples. And these aren't even, as I said, these are just I can't find one about digital professionalism in this one. It could be interaction with children, perhaps. Some of it might be covered in here. But having a look at policies from local childcare centres and from local kinders can be super helpful. So I suggest that that's probably a good thing to be doing with your team this week. You can see here that it's got quite a detailed procedure list for this one. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the DB.